on a numerological perspective, we suffering under the number 12. 12 is the number 3. 1 plus 2. The reason why 12 has been granted the number of authority is not for the reasons we think. Like, we're actually being manipulated by the number 12. You think about the things that the 12 is associated with. You know, you got the 12 months, you got the 12 tribes of Israel, you got the 12 disciples, 12s and 12s. You got the 24 elders in heaven, right? So, encircling the throne, that's 2 12s again. 12. They have bar mitzvahs or bar mitzvats, and I probably got the language wrong on it, but these things happen what they call like the age of reason, and that's 12. You know, according to the Jewish belief system, Orthodox Jewish belief system, they'll have something special when the child reaches 12 years of age. Now the 12, so you see how connected the 12 is to everything else, and the 12 is really like, is a custodian, but not a custodian like a guardian, like a parent, like a mother, like a father. The 12 is like a PO, and that's what the 12 is like. The 12 is keeping you in line for a different reason, for part of, you know, what we would like to call the prison industrial complex. Remember in the last video I was talking about that's who Iris is over, which is the dark part of Surrey. So you have the shadow side, like for instance, I'm a Taurus, and opposite to me on the crossbar is Scorpio. So Scorpio is my shadow self. What are Scorpios usually known for? Intense sexuality. Now, as a Taurus, I'm aesthetic, but not necessarily a sexual person. But if I'm pushed into a dark corner, rather than shoot up the bank, I'm a find 3 or 4 willing women. This is, you know, because my dark half is Scorpio. That's my opposite nature. What the 12 does is it keeps you from knowing your opposite nature, knowing your crossbar. So when you feel yourself being pressed, feel your buttons being pressed, you feel like you just react, or you just black out, and that could very well be a manifestation of your crossbar sign, like your opposing sign that's across from you, which is really the other half of you. You are one bar with 2 ends on it. One end is your sun sign, the other end is your opposing sign, or you could call it your moon sign. And it's the 12 that's a custodian over all of that, like a warden, because the 3 is a prison number. But there's, you know, dark wizards made it a holy sounding thing. Like, you know, that's the Trinity. That's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. How dare you? We got the triangle. We got triangle offense. You know, we got the triangle. We got the, you know. But a delta is a circle, and you're going to be going in circles. What happened with the children of Israel when it was time for them to cross over into the promised land? A lot of them didn't, right? Because they spent essentially the same 40 years going in circles. They're under the number 4. You know, you can't call 4 22, because 22 is a master number, which is not to be reduced. But 4 can be broken down into 13, 1 plus 3. And that's what brings me to my main point. If you want to stop wandering in circles, because we all do it. We all wander around, got me going in circles, round and round. You know what I mean? So you're going in circles in a desolate place, in a circle where nothing is really growing. You know what I mean? So you have to break the 12 by understanding that these Israelites, they spent 40 years in the wilderness. The 13 is the hidden ruler of the 12. Everybody fights for position. I want to be a part of the team. I want to be a part of this crew. I want to join this particular company. I want to work for this company or that company. I want to join this organization or that organization. I want to join this group or that group. The idea of joining has everything to do with the number 12 too. Is a joining number, but it's joining you into a circle. It's joining you into a delta. A lot of times you never meet the 13th man. Because what historically happened to the 13th man out of the 12? He was crucified. That's what happened to the 13th man. The 13th man was the one with all the magic. The 13th man was the one ruling the 12. But he got treated worse than any of the 12 because he was the 13th man. He was the awakened one. Jesus, the one you call the Christ, some call him Yahweh Shai. Different kinds of names, but this particular character though, that represents that part of history, he broke the 12 because he was the 13th. Now originally, when you look at like Israel in the Old Testament, it was just 12. There was no one person leading the 12 per se. They were saying they were being led by the Father, so they were being really led by invisibility. They were like physical signs, like a pillar of a cloud descending, flames of fire to like guide them and keep them on course, so to speak. So all of that was part of the 12 energy, because the 12 energy is veiling whoever the 13th man is. And Jesus revealed the 13th man. He said everybody's the 13th man. Stay away from the 12. He said if you strike the shepherd, the sheep will be scattered. If you want to break the 12, you have to strike the 13th man. And this doesn't mean to hit, but you have to strike the concept. You have to grasp the concept. You have to make an actionable step toward the concept of the 13th man. What governs the 12? Because there's a difference between joining something, being governed by something, and ruling over something. They're totally different things. The person that's at the cashier is not getting the same instructions that the manager is getting. The manager, you don't see the manager, but the manager sees you. The manager is behind the glass, seeing everything, but can only talk about certain things. That's the manager. That's the 13th man. Everybody else, they're on the floor, right? So again, we're in the age now where this is why you don't hear a lot of religious talk, really. You don't hear too much talk about Jesus. You don't hear too much talk about Satan. You don't hear too much talk about Lucifer. You got people reaching in all directions for information that's at least older than that, starting with older than that. You got a lot of Egyptian, Sumerian, Atlantean, Orion, Arcturian, Pleiadian, etc. type of energy. Everything is going galactic because the power of the 12 energy has been broken. That delta, that triangle has been split open. So instead of a 360, we're back to a 180. A 180 is a straight line. A 180 is a straight line. You don't necessarily want to do a 90, what they call a 90-degree angle, although, there's belief systems that honor being rightly squared up, but at the same time 90-degree angles back you into a corner because you got a corner. You can't get out of a 90-degree angle either, but a 180 goes on and on. That's the infinite plane. This is also, see, the 180, 1 and 8 is 9, and 0 is a placeholder. That's a portal. 0 is like, a portal, a wormhole. So 1 plus 8 is 9, and 9 is traveling through the portal of a new understanding, a new reality, a new interpretation. This is why you got the fight between round earth and flat earth. One group is saying, no, we're in the triangle, which is a circle. We're in the 360-degree sphere. And the other group is saying, no way, we in a 180. We're on an infinite stretch of land. We're on a flat plane. No matter where I flew all over the world, I've never seen the edge of the earth. This points to a 180, because how can you go back around to something that has no edge? So the 180 has to go through a portal, because that's 9 going through a portal. 180. Got the 0, 1 plus 8 is 9. So that is, in a nutshell, how to break away from the 12, because you're gonna want to break away from the 12. Am I telling you to be a rebel, revolutionary? Not actionably, unless you want the persecution that comes with that. And a lot of us are really under threat of death. Like a lot of people who are teaching the same things that I'm teaching in almost the same way that I'm teaching. A lot of us are really on a hit list. And yeah, you may or may not take some of that seriously. But yo, some of us is really turning up dead over this information. So, I just want to wake you up because it's really no holds barred. I see the 90-degree angle they put me in. I see the delta that they put me in, but I also see the 180 that I became as a result of it. And I saw myself breaking away from the 12, dealing with all the beef that comes with what? Being the 13th man.